What's up guys, my name is Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about how to get raid gear before the raid is open. There's a very secret way to glitch underneath the map, get all the way to the area in the raid, load up the area in the raid, and of course get one of those secret chests that are off the beaten path and be able to get raid gear before the raid is even released. Now that being said, Bungie has in the past banned people for getting their ghost in Destiny 1 before they were allowed to. In Halo 3 they probably had a few offenses as well, so make sure you do this at your own risk. That being said, it's really not that big because this is not powerful gear. This is not something that will help your power. It just gives you an opportunity to get some guns and armor beforehand. But again, make sure you do it at your own risk. I'm actually going to be sending this video directly to Bungie so that they can hopefully get it patched, all these tutorials and tips and the walkway all the way through it, hopefully to be able to help Bungie correct this and fix this so that people don't feel like they have to be required to break the rules to get into the raid and have that fear of needing to do that. That being said, I went out there and I did it for you guys to show you what you can get and what you can do, and on top of that, after getting that chest, I decided to explore the area around and I found a lot of very interesting things that I wanted to share with you. And lastly, every single class can make every single jump. I have done it on the Warlock and the Titan, and the original video that I saw, shout out to him, link in the description down below, from Rifle Gaming, he was doing it as a hunter. So we do know every class can do every part. So if you're having trouble, you just got to keep at it and keep trying. However, I would recommend the Lion's Rampant on the Titan, and of course these Stompies on the Hunter. I think Transversive might help the Warlock, but I didn't have it, so you don't need it. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. First thing you gotta do, unlock the Dreaming City. Very obvious. Check out a video on my channel to see how you do it, and then follow the path that I have on this video. Start at spawn, and then of course just sparrow all the way over to the second area, and right at the entrance of the second area, you're gonna drop down onto this little tree thing over here, and then next to the tree thing, there's gonna be an opening in the rocks. Just follow my path exactly, and you should be able to get to the areas that you need to get to. This is going to be quite obvious. Just make sure you stay as high as possible. If you do end up landing on the lower rock, you're going to have to get back up, and it is somewhat difficult as some of the classes, but it is still possible. After that, then you're going to want to cross all the way across this chasm, and once you get here, things will start to get dark because of the weird contrast issue. You can also use emotes to light up the area so your teammates can follow you along. This particular jump here is a little bit difficult, so honestly I recommend overshooting the jump because sometimes you can grab a ledge and jump off of it, and after you get to this section it is a bit sloppy the way I did it, but just keep on jumping, keep on flying, and make your way up into these crevices. Eventually you're going to need to get underneath this and then around one of these rock faces and underneath this rock. After that, just drop down onto this little black on white rock face, and then eventually you're going to have to get on top of this invisible water platform. So make sure you stay as high as you can, and you'll be able to stand on nothingness here. This section here, you're going to be kind of in the water section, and it's a bit difficult to see, and that's why I've upped the brightness for this particular video so that you can actually see it. But this section, again, use your emotes that have brightness on them, like the swing is very good, the chicken's very good, anything with the holographic. You're going to need to get through some gap in the rocks that's very difficult to see. It's very much easier when you have teammates because they can guide you along and show you where the walls are. Eventually you're going to get through that little chasm choke, then you're going to have to jump up on top of this rock. Almost the entire area around here is solid, so if you miss the jump, don't worry, you're going to be able to get it no problem. After that, turn around and go to this rock face. There's going to be a couple ledges to get up. Honestly, all you have to really do is just get all the way up this rock face to the top of the main rock. So if you want to follow the path I have here, follow it exactly. The Titan, making it a lot easier to get up here. With the Warlock and the Hunter, it's going to be a little bit tighter of a jump, so you're going to have to account for that uniquely. Eventually you're going to get to the very top of the rock face, and then you're going to go over the top side of it and then drop down onto this little black platform that's sticking out on the bottom. So you're going to drop down to this little kind of column here, turn around, and then drop down on that little piece of black on white right there. Once you land on this little platform, turn around, there's going to be another ledge right there. Follow this ledge all the way around the rocks, and then you're going to have a couple of weird little jumps. There's going to be an invisible platform that you have to jump to, and then you have to turn around and then jump into a little chimney, which you'll see in a little bit. And then after that, you're going to want to trigger a loading point. So this is the invisible thing right here. So you have to jump up to the invisible little platform here. Again, Titans make it very easily. The other classes might have a little more difficult. And then you turn around, and this little purple thing, you need to kind of jump up into the chimney here and get up into this section. If you go too fast, you may kill yourself and spawn in the wrong part of the raid, so don't go too fast in this section. Eventually, you get up on the regular rock, and then you're going to want to force yourself into these walls, into the ceilings, as much as you possible. Just jump around until you get a loading sequence. It'll literally say loading on your screen, and that means you've triggered the next area to spawn. Once you do that, and if you haven't died, then you're moving on to the next step where it says Tower of the Opened Eyes. Once you do that, then you're going to want to drop down through the gap that you started going up through. Once you get down to this section here, where Brick is standing with his super, then you're going to need to turn right and go up this wall around here and land on this ledge. The reason we did that loading thing is that so that a bunch of platforms would load in and spawn for us, otherwise they'd be invisible, and of course you cannot collide with them. After you get to this ledge, you're going to need to drop down and jet over. You cannot just jump directly to it, you have to drop down because of the invisible wall, and then jet over to it. Once you do get to this section, you're going to need to turn right and then jump all the way across the chasm and land on the far black rock across. So again, once you're here, you're going to need to look over towards the black wall, get all the way across, say as high as you possibly can, otherwise you're going to miss it, and go all the way to this black platform all the way over here. Once you're here, you're going to want to jump and run towards the water section over here. Try to get as far as you can. This whole section is going to be solid ground for you, and try to hug the mountain wall as much as you can. So once you get to here, again, stay along this mountain wall and try to stay as close as possible, because I don't actually know how far there is a solid ground until you get to this little section here with this little lip here, and you're going to need to get on top of this section. If you're Titan, you can skip going to that little nook entirely, but if you're a Hunter or Warlock, that's going to be a very, very hard jump. So again, you're going to have to jump into that lip. Otherwise, with the Titan, you don't really need to. After that, just make your way to the top of the mountain. There's no perfect or only way to get up. There's a lot of different ways that all the classes can do, so just make your way up the mountain in the most logical way you can think of, getting to all the different ledges, and eventually you make it to the top. After making it to the top of the mountain, honestly just head a beeline straight in this direction. Eventually you arrive at this big bright white bridge. You do not need to get on top of these cylinders. You do not need to go to the right on top of those black invisible columns on the right. You do not need to do any of that. Honestly, just make your way straight, and as long as you can get over the section. This little section underneath the rock is, again, not pertinent, again, because you can just kind of go over it if you're Titan, or I guess a lot of the classes can get over it, but this is just one such way we made our way over. You just need to make it over to the white bridge. You'll see a couple of little fades here because I got a little bit lost, but you're just going to need to head again in this direction. You're going to see another fade here towards the black rock. This is the same black rock in both of the images. The fade is just because, again, I got a little lost. Just make your way over to this white bridge. You'll see what I mean eventually, that this will be a bridge. At this particular section, you are actually very, very close to getting to the chest. What you need to do is load in the entire area. So you're going to need to jump down to this platform, go into this cave, and you'll have a loading screen. Pretty much immediately as you see this loading screen, just turn around and you should see the bridge. But if you do not see the bridge, you're going to need to go deeper into the cave and get another loading sequence. Technically, I didn't look around and see if it had loaded, but if it doesn't load for you, just follow your way as I follow into this cave, down the stairs towards the door, and that should load again the new area and force the area to load. After loading this entire area up, you're just going to need to make your way back up into the cave. This particular jump right here is very difficult with a Warlock, but I've seen it done with a Warlock, a Hunter, and a Titan. So if you're having troubles with that, it is possible. Just keep giving it a few more tries. And again, all you're doing is you're making your way outside of the cave, and eventually, when you do get outside the cave, you're probably going to see your favorite wallpaper for the next few months. I gotta say, this view is incredible. The entire section of bridge has spawned, multiple sections of the raid have spawned, and this very clear path has opened up for you to traverse on the railings underneath the bridge. This is actually going to be a section of the raid where you actually have to climb across these rails, which I'll explain in a little bit. Once you get to the second column here, drop down, there's going to be a ledge here, and that is going to be where the chest is. In this particular adventure, my friend Brick got pants for the raid. I got a rocket launcher and one of the mods for the particular raid mods, and that's pretty much it. There's really not much more to it. You can get these items on all three of your characters if you have the Dreaming City unlocked. If you want to risk going and getting all three, you can get, I assume, next week when the reset hits, you should be able to get a new set of them if you want to get them. But again, make sure you do this at your own risk, because you are risking your account being banned, because Bungie has done this in the past for people who break into the areas. But honestly, it's really not that much of a big offense, and I don't think that they should. After this section, you can actually just explore the entire section of the raid that's open to you. I was able to get all the way down across the entire bridge. There's actually a very simple cave entrance. I did this convoluted strategy where I went all the way around this big whole rock face. When once you get to this little broken section of the bridge rails, just look down. There's going to be a big opening, blue section. Just drop down in there, follow the path along. You'll eventually get to solid ground. And then eventually you'll get to this big old building section. There's a whole bunch of stuff to explore in this area. A big planetarium looking thing that's cool and purple and spinning and has spinning little pieces to it. I spent hours in this area just looking around, looking at the things, trying to find secrets. And in this area, I was able to find a secret. Now, once you get to the solid ground, if you head left, there's a little cave entrance. Kind of over to the side. If you go in the cave entrance, which is a very obviously made, artificially made cave, you're gonna find a bunch of cats and a bunch of symbols on the ground. Now, I don't know if I'm like first person to ever find this ever, or if if I'm probably one of the first. This is supposed to be one of those hidden secrets. I assume it has to do something maybe with the offerings, like in the previous ones you have a small offering for the cats around the Dreaming City. Maybe this is like a big offering to like a family of cats. I don't know what it is. I also don't know what the symbols are. Maybe this is like a big Easter egg that Bungie put in their raid for people to chase and go after and find this big lore element. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something of a secret because look at these symbols. They're crazy. They're ridiculous. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to bore you with the entire like 2 hours. I was flying around this section trying to parkour all over the place, trying to find secrets, trying to break into different areas, but it is a lot of fun. I recommend you go over there. You can traverse over all 3 levels of the entire building section, so I recommend you go out there and try to get it done and fly around and see what's going on. But again, it's really not that spoilerific because there's not really any information, there's no encounters, there's no enemies. It's just looking around and seeing what's up and seeing what's going on. But this is definitely a section of the raid. I can guarantee and confirm it because of the way the path is worked out, because of the fact that there's big doors, and because everything is so well textured. I have to assume this is part of the raid. But that's it. That's the video for you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. Of course, if you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Of course, subscribe for more Destiny 2 in the future. My name's Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.